There is no agreed international boundary between England and Scotland because they're not separate countries. There's an administrative boundary which has existed for many years.
I'm here now on the beach at Carnoustie, just down from the famous Carnoustie golf course. We've come up north here from Dundee today, and people are surprised when you tell them that if you go straight out to sea from here due east, and don't go to south at all, just keep going east from here, you'll eventually hit English waters, because extraordinarily the English-Scottish maritime border runs north of Carnoustie almost as far as Arbroath. That amazes most people. Most people assume that it goes out due east from Berwick-upon-Tweed, and indeed it did. It did until 1999. The border was a line running due east from the mouth of the Tweed. In 1999 it was changed, and while it still starts at the mouth of the Tweed, it now tends heavily in the northward direction until it finishes up around Arbroath. That change was made in 1999 in an extraordinary and secretive way. There was never any debate on it in the UK Parliament. It was a change made under the authority of the UK Parliament, but by secondary legislation. That's simply a document signed by a minister without having to go through Parliament. And it was never discussed in the Scottish Parliament at all, because it was signed into law literally the evening before the Scottish Parliament came into existence. And anybody who believes that was a coincidence is very naive indeed. The reason it was pushed through was because if again you go straight out to sea from here, there's 7 oil fields between here and Berwick-upon-Tweed, which are now in English waters, including, for example, the Argyll field, which is now English. Argyll is simply its name, it's not its location, it's in the North Sea. The reason this was done was deliberately to weaken the case for independence by moving some oil fields from Scotland into England, and to distort the revenue figures. When you see figures for GDP for Scotland and for England, remember 7 oil fields have been taken off Scotland's total and put into England's total by this change in 1999. This is something we don't have to accept. If Scotland becomes independent, we can renegotiate that boundary with England. We have to renegotiate that boundary with England and settle it back to something like the line of east to Berwick we had. If they remain obdurate in negotiations, then we have the options to go to the International Court of Justice or to the International Law of Sea Tribunal at The Hague. All of those are entirely possible, and as I say, I've actually I think participated in the negotiation of more maritime boundaries than any other living human being, and I'm absolutely confident that we would win. The main point I want to leave with you is the issue of bad faith. To do this secretly, to do this without discussion in either parliament, to do it the night before devolution came into force, is evidence of bad faith. To do it deliberately in order to discourage the prospects for Scottish independence is bad faith. And that this stealing of Scottish waters was done by Tony Blair and Donald Dewar as part of the opposition, if you like, the antidote to the devolution settlement, just goes to show that you cannot ever believe that the Labour Party has Scotland's interests at heart. We can never trust the UK government to look after Scotland's interests. The only way to stop this kind of stitch-up in future is for Scotland to become an independent state.